Now, as I said about a literature review requires to be quite reliable in research in order to make it really worthwhile research. Now, here in the literature review, as you can see here from my presentation, is there is a train here, but the train is not on the right track, and that's because it's a faulty literature review. And the faulty literature review can derail any research project. How do you produce an effective review? Now, how can you keep it on track? How can you do that and make it flawless? Well, you need to actually follow a certain road, if you like, a certain plan. You need to know the purpose of the review. What is the taxonomy of the review? I'm going to talk about a little bit of stages of conducting a review and a few mistakes and maybe a summary. Now, according to the theorists, what they are saying to us is that they are saying if your literature review is poor or not well researched or not well understood, then your research is not significant, is not important, is not very good. So you need to have a very good, not poorly researched or conceptualized review. Also, you need to make sure that these you read all these various publications about your own work. Now, here is the ideal process of when you do a literature review. First, you need to collect data from articles, newspapers, books. You read chapters in books. Also, and that is a descriptive because you're just saying what's in these articles. Then you analyze what you are reading. You don't actually just cut and paste them. You need to understand them and analyze them. And also put them together into a very succinct, very precise, very short form. And then you evaluate them later on in your discussion. And you do what's called the prescriptive approach. Of course, there are two approaches. Descriptive and prescriptive. And in the descriptive, you are asking questions such as what, where, when, and who. What are you discussing? Who is the scholars? And when did they do that? And where, in which topic and which area? And that is descriptive. You're describing what the information is in that literature review. You are just collecting how many articles, what did they talk about, what are the reports in these articles. That's all. You're describing. The second stage is analyzing. Analyzing means saying what, why, the reasons. Why is the report like this? Why do I have this data? What are the reasons for this kind of a problem? Why is there a problem? And how is the next step, which is the prescriptive, which is how to solve the problem, problem solving. So that's the third stage. So you've got three stages. Descriptive, which you are describing the situation or describing what you're reading. Analyzing it, saying why it's like that. So the first thing, you identify the problem. Then you analyze the problem and say why, the reasons. And then after that, you look at how you can solve the problem, this is the highest level, which is the prescriptive level of research. And that is usually when you put recommendations, when you put how you are solving an issue that you are coming across. So these are the four elements that you need to do or process accordingly, which is collecting, analyzing, synthesizing, and then evaluating and assessing. Now, the aim of your literature review, why are you doing it? What for? There must be a reason for it. And the reason is to prove that your knowledge in the topic that you are doing is you are showing that you as a researcher know a lot about the topic that you are working on. You know the vocabulary, the terminology, you know the theories, you know the key variables, the phenomena, the methods, and the history of that topic. Also, you might it will show in the literature review that you are going to show as a current researcher or student the influential and the key researchers and scholars in the area, in the field. So you need to mention them in your literature review. Also, the idea is to aim to legitimize and make it legitimate your paper so that it will be publishable in a scholarly, hopefully in a scholarly journal. The purposes is to delimit the problem, know the borders of the problem. Or you might want to actually find out a new line of inquiry. Or you want to avoid fruitless approaches. Maybe you will start your literature review. Maybe some people start research without even knowing what's been done before, and afterwards they've realized, oh, sorry, there are other people who have done it, or people who have done it and it turned out to be useless, this method that you are using. So it's better to check if there are any fruitless approaches being done before and they failed in getting anywhere in research. And that's very, very important to establish in your literature review. And also, you look at methodology, you look at recommendations by other research before you, and also maybe you want to support an already existing theory that's already been discussed, and you're just sort of proving it to your to whoever is reading your work. Hart, he says that the purpose of a literature review in 1998 is to distinguish between what has been done from what needs to be done. This is really important. You need to keep that in mind. What has been done means what's been published. And know what's not been done, what needs to be done, which is what you are doing, your research, your current research. So when you are doing a literature review, you are establishing what's been printed in your area and what's been published in your area before, so you know what's been done before you, so that you don't actually repeat other people's, or which has been already done by other people already, by other scholars. So you're establishing that. And then you need to discover variables, important ones in the topic, relevant to the topic, or synthesize and gain a new perspective, identify relationships between ideas and practices. Perhaps you want to establish between theory and practice. What is in theory may not be applicable. There are lots of theories, for example, in translation, which may not be helpful in practicing translation. That is also an issue. And also maybe you need to look at practices in the market. That is another element which you need to be aware of. And then also rationalizing the significance of the problem. Why is it important, this problem that you're discussing, or identifying main methodologies and research techniques. We have looked at now purpose of review. Let's look at the taxonomy, i.e. types of reviews. They can be classified under 5 classifications or categorizations. Characteristics, focus, how you focus in your study, goal of your study, perspective, means the angle, coverage, how much coverage you need to do in your topic, and organization, how you want to organize your topic, and finally, it is the actual audience, who is going to read my research. These are all important. You need to focus on each one of them, just one element in each one of them. Let's look at the first one, which is focus. In focus, you need to look at 4 elements. You need to choose only one of them, which is research outcomes. Perhaps you need to focus on that only. Or you need to focus on research methods, or on theories, or on practices. So you choose one of them to focus upon. For example, in research outcomes, you look at you see what information there, you analyze it, synthesize it, put it together, all these findings, but you're not actually just only copying and pasting. You are summarizing in order to draw conclusions. Very, very important. You are summarizing to draw conclusions. Second focus can be research methods. In this one, you are identifying the strengths and weaknesses in the body of research, if previous research has been done and flowed in methodology. Or you want to examine how research methods differ across groups, times, or settings. A final one will be relating to theories. Perhaps you want to establish, in theories, You want to establish what is the new, the advanced theories, or new theory, you want to advance it, or you want to see if there is a lack of theories. So your main focus is to see what theories already exist if the project is going to move forward and create a new theory. And also if there is a lack of theories. A final focus, which you can do, you can choose, as I said before, one of these focuses is identify good and bad practices and see if there is a practical need not currently available. And then you want to cover that practical need, perhaps in your study. We finish with focus, we'll look at the goal. Now the goal could be to integrate, to generalize the findings across treatments or outcomes, or it can be resolving a debate in your area, or bridging the language between disciplines, different disciplines, cross-discipline. Or it can be analyzing previous research critically. It can be also identifying central issues in your area. It can be explicating an argument as well. So it can be one of these. You need to choose one goal. You can choose two of them, but you don't need to choose all of them. So now we've covered focus. In the four, you choose one. In the goal, also you choose one or two. It's up to you.